College athletes are starting to get paid eventually. All of this news that we read about our student athletes, employees of the school, our student athletes, should they be paid? They're bringing in so much revenue. It's actually a very big debate. People are very passionate about that. I don't know that I've ever come out and given my point of view. I think that college athletes should absolutely not be paid because their job is not to play football or basketball or baseball. Their job is to put themselves in a position to become professionals. Same reason I went to college was to put myself in a position to become a professional, but that was to get into law school and then to go into business. Now, do colleges make money off their athletes? Of course they do. Colleges make money off anyone who pays tuition. That's how colleges and universities, that's how they operate. That's how they make it so all different services can be offered to students, whether it's libraries, whether it's laboratories, whether it's research, whether it's trying to find a vaccine for COVID or trying to find treatments for cancer, whether it's funding swimming or volleyball or diving. It's all a big business. Running a university is a big business. And you have to think about the people who are helping you run that business. And athletes do help. There's no question. But there is such a interesting tug of war going on between colleges and the NBA. So that's why the NBA started the G League, which is attracting high school players because these players can go get paid. And I've never been against that. If you can go make money out of high school, then you don't need college. I don't think that college is for everyone. I don't think having a college education is the end all be all, depending on what you want to do. Sometimes it's better to go to a trade school. Sometimes you want to become an actor and you want to try it, so you don't need to go to college. Sometimes you want to start a business. Sometimes you want to become a professional athlete. I think that education is the bedrock foundation and the ultimate safety net, because having a degree and having an education gives you an opportunity to learn how to read and how to really be really good at reading comprehension. It helps you learn how to write, how to think, how to make decisions. All of these things are absolutely true in my mind. But with the legislatures of different states coming up with different rules about college athletes being able to get paid for their name, image, and likeness, Reggie Bush stepped up yesterday. Reggie Bush, I was going to say unbelievable and outstanding. An unstanding. Ever do that when you mix words? You're thinking of one word and you're thinking of another and you do an amalgam. Reggie Bush was an amazing college player. You know, he won a Super Bowl as a professional, nothing outstanding. He was in the news yesterday, and there's two interesting points about what happened. He gave an interview in Playboy. Remember when Playboy took all like the nude pictures away and they went to just interviews? And then that changed. But he gave an interview in Playboy. And he had a quote which said, "They're about to start paying college athletes," Reggie Bush said. "This is something that has never been experienced before. And it's going to destroy some people if their foundation is not in the right place." Well, a news site, not CBS, someone else, I can't remember who, I think it may have been ESPN, did an article saying Reggie Bush says paying athletes will destroy some people. That was basically the article. And Reggie Bush sent a tweet saying, "You have used a quote of mine out of context. I did not give you permission to use that quote." And he basically lost his mind. My message to Reggie Bush is twofold. Number one, the people who write the headlines are different than the people who write the articles. And I've argued to editors, to publishers, to reporters. I've argued about headlines for 18 years because headlines drive me crazy. They're both clickbait, and often they do not take into account nuances in the article. They're half-truths, if not quarter-truths, and there is zero accountability. So when you call up a reporter and you say, "Hey, what kind of headline is that? I didn't say that at all." And he says, or she says invariably, "Don't blame me." By the way, is there anything more perfect when you cannot blame yourself and you can blame someone else in your company and use that as a shield or even a sword in some cases? So headline writers are headline writers, and don't get me wrong, I think everyone who has a job to do, but I also know headline writers do not read every article front to back. It's actually known that when people read articles, they read the first few paragraphs, and very often they then peruse, that's not the word, Coca, here it goes. I've got the Wednesday brains right now. When they They peruse the prose, they sort of skim it, and then they go to the end. So often, if you're writing an article, you want to make sure that you're very poignant in the beginning, very poignant in the end, and in the middle, you can just sort of say some stuff. So ESPN writes the headline, and Reggie Bush gets upset. But here's what he was trying to say. Forget the fact that he doesn't understand the whole headline issue. What he was trying to say is that if we start paying college athletes, let's talk about the flow of money. One of my favorite subjects is thinking about and following the trail of the cash. So let's pretend you've got an agent, you have a booster. We're going to write a play right now. And here are the characters. The agent, the booster. A booster is someone who gives money to a program in order to gain access, to get on the sidelines, to get to meet the players, to basically believe that he or she is an important person because they've given money in order to get access. So you got the booster, you got the agent. Then you've got the athletic director, the person in charge, basically the CEO of the entire athletic department of a university. Then you've got the president of the university, who's in charge not just of athletics, but actually in charge of the entire thing. The chairman, we will call the president. So name, image, and likeness. You have an opportunity to get a 5-star high school player. The rules are that you cannot offer that player money at all as a university, but that player can do a deal with the company where your university is located. So if there's a local pizzeria joint, that pizzeria joint can call the player, call the agent, and say, okay, we will give $110,000. We need 5 commercials, and we'll have free pizzas given to him and his family and his fraternity and his freshman dorm every day for the entire freshman year. Then you've got the sneaker companies, the uniform companies, everyone's getting in on it. So there's money flowing to generally a 17-year-old, because this doesn't start when the kid's 18. These conversations start happening when kids are sophomores in high school. They're babies. They're 2 years past their bar mitzvahs. That's how young they are. When you force kids to become adults, you are asking for problems. And the problems are that adults come in and try to be adults for the kids, and then that leads to fraud. The fraud is because sometimes you've got parents who don't have their priorities in the right place. And criticize me all you want. How many child actors have gone bankrupt because their parents stole their money? How many? You think Gary Coleman's the only one from Different Strokes? I'm aging myself, but there are a ton of them. They take over for their kids and take their money. So now we're putting money in the hands of young people. There's no real check and balance. And the purpose of the college is to make sure that they get the sophomore and junior to believe that they're going to get the most money when they get to that school. Reggie Bush has a point. He really does. There are going to be people who get destroyed if their foundation is not in the right place. And that's all he was trying to say. And instead, he comes out as though he's against NIL, against name, image, likeness, and against anybody getting paid. He may or may not be, but his point is absolutely well taken. The word of the day, and it can be used for many, many purposes. But for today, it's nil.